Dana, just first to get some things going. How did that feel, and just also the decision with Parker to get him to start and how he produced?
Well, I was just listening to you earlier in the week, asking about changes, and I don't read the paper anymore, but so I just figured I'd do that for you, JD. Yeah, changes. Yeah, I mean, he's a good player. He'd shown flashes of that, and then just through the natural progression of being a true freshman, you got to see how he does in games, right? A couple of times, and it took us a couple of games to figure out that he was ready, and yeah, looks pretty ready to me. He's got a chance to be a special player, so first 100-yard game. I think we'll be seeing a lot of that around here around Parker Jenkins.
Dana, over starting last week and then this week, it seems like you guys are focusing more when it comes to like short passes. I don't know if they could necessarily be screens, but like Donovan will turn, throw a quick pass, and then you guys are blocking. Has that been a focal point since last week?
Yeah, it's just part of our offense. It's we're not like 100% RPO driven like some teams are, where they run it, and then slants and screens and stuff like that. But we're getting creative with motions and creating leverages. This is a Iman Nagavi thing, that he has background and history on. Obviously, we've been motioning for years and stuff like that, but just being able to split the defense and stretch the field in the run game, and then be able to throw RPOs and stuff like that on the perimeter. I thought one of the keys of the game was perimeter blocking, receiver perimeter blocking. Matt Golden, Sam Brown, Joseph Manjack, Josh Cobbs, the tight ends. I thought they did a phenomenal job of blocking on the perimeter. Obviously but that's not our only way of throwing the football. Okay, so it's a piece to it. Thought the run game looked better. You guys have been hearing me talk about it all week. We challenged those guys. I think those guys up front took a step in the right direction, and the 5 starters did good, but the backups got valuable experience. And we'll evaluate it. So I kept running run plays at the end because I want to look and see what that looks like, because those backups all need to continue to get better and help us down the road.
Dana, Parker's ability to break tackles and carry guys along at times. I mean, how big is that? And when did you first see that from him?
Last week, in kickoff return. When Matt got that big one, obviously teams are going to kick it away from Matt, and so he had 2 opportunities to catch it, and you saw it then. Like after contact, just keeping his feet going. He's a combination of strength, pad level, and speed. I mean, he ran a 10.3, 10.4 100 when he was at Klein Forest. I mean, they had a state champion 4x1 team, and he was on it. But he can run, but he's powerful, and he plays low to the ground. So that was a big get for us in recruiting. We beat a lot of people out on him. I think Rashawn Sanford is another one that is going to be special. Unfortunately, he's not playing this year because of the knee, but what he showed us in camp was pretty awesome. I thought Stacy and even Brandon responded to it as well. So they didn't just sit there and pout when I named Parker the starter on Tuesday night. They upped their game. That's called competition. I think Donovan sees what Uwe is capable of doing. I don't know if you guys saw that, but that was pretty special now. He's been getting better and better and better and better, and so we made a decision that he's going to get all the second-team reps, and he looked good throughout the course of the week, and the more reps he gets, the better it's going to be. The throwback pass was a great throw. The safety made a great play on it. And then the first slant that he threw right there was pretty special, and I thought Stacy finished that thing off.
Coach, in previous weeks you had issued a bit of a challenge to both Matthew Golden and Manjack. Tonight in particular, Matthew Golden appeared a lot more comfortable than previous weeks. Were you more satisfied with his performance tonight?
I was. Both him and Manjack. We targeted Matt 10 times and he caught 9. I thought his ball skills were off the charts good today, and I've been critical of that. We've been targeting him way too much, and the catches weren't there. I told Matt that I just told him to quit pressing, man. I mean, nobody's harder on himself. He's the hardest on himself of probably anybody I've ever coached. He cares that much, tries that hard. Just relax, man. Let the game come to you. And Manjack as well. It means a lot to him, you know. So, you know, they both stepped up and played good today, I thought.
Dana, Donovan Smith, coming off of some of the games that he had, how did you feel like he managed things, and was the oblique, was that any more of a
It was.
concern?
I didn't want to talk about it last week because I'm not going to sit there and make excuses for how we play. Okay, I'm trying not to do that. We're going to own our performance and all the rest. And he owned his performance last week. It did affect him. I think Donovan's been playing good. I thought at Rice, especially in the second half against Rice, the last possession of the first half and the second half against Rice, and then the overtime, I thought Donovan played great. You know, and now he didn't play very good last week. He owns that. He worked hard all week, pushed through his ab, got his work done, and I thought he had a really good game today. I was very proud of him.
And on Uwe, I guess the pecking order now is Lucas. Where does Lucas factor in, or is he?
Uwe brings something to the table that Lucas and Donovan don't. I'm just telling you, his throw anticipation is special. He just gives us another option. You're going to need all of them. Lucas is still a quarterback. Lucas is in our quarterback room. He's still focusing and planning on playing quarterback. You know, so it's a long season. You know, and you never know what's going to happen. So you need options. You know, and I think this past week, what we've done with Uwe, Lucas has got a ton of reps over the last 2 years. And so we need him to go in and play quarterback. He can go in there and play quarterback. You know, Donovan's our starter. Thought he had a great game. Thought he had a great week of practice. He's going to continue to get better. Just gives us more options.
Dana, just want to hear a little bit about the defense. I think they really settled in after that opening drive touchdown and pretty much allowed negative yardage for the rest of the first half. Just tell us what you saw from the defense a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, they played pretty good other than the first drive. I mean, the first drive one made me want to throw up. I mean, these guys hadn't scored a touchdown in 2 games, and then, you know, we're coming off of a decent performance where I pat our defense on the back, and I'm like, now don't go out there and give up a touchdown on the first drive. And they go out there and they give up a touchdown on the first drive. 3 penalties on the first drive. I mean, it's just it's BS. I'm sure Coach Belk would say more than that, okay? But after that, after the first drive, we played good. Good thing about that is we played a whole lot of people. We played a whole lot of people. We didn't play Chidozie. We didn't play, you know, probably 2 or 3 other guys. Antonio Brooks, I know, is one we didn't play. Just held him, you know, to try to get him healthy for next week. But playing a lot of people is going to create competition.
Dana, how important was it to get a win like that, you know, the guys can feel good about and, you know, something to sort of build
we need
on?
a little momentum right now. We need a little confidence and a little momentum right now. The last 2 weeks have been tough, you know. They haven't blinked. Our coaches and our players haven't blinked. You know, we've just focused on doing our job and getting better. TCU's a good football team. Saw what they did to SMU today. That could have been a lot worse than it was. You know, we're still disappointed about Rice, but we don't want to talk about that. You know, we're 2-2. We got to win. We got some momentum, and now we get to go to Texas Tech with a little bit of momentum.
Dana, can you just take me back to that last drive in the first half when you guys had a chance to at least add a field goal, and it seemed like time ran out on you guys? How'd you feel?
Yeah, I was upset with that. You know, I think we had 2 turnovers and we didn't get points on either one of them. That's something that I've been focusing on. Scoring touchdowns in the red zone. Our first drive, we go down there and we couldn't punch it in. Playing complementary football when defense gets turnovers, offense needs to go out there and do something, and we're 0 for 2 tonight. So we will continue to work on that. Now, as far as the actual drive, I thought we managed it just fine. Now everybody's going to be pissed because we didn't get points right there, including me. We work that all the time. Donovan's got to own that. We work that every Thursday. It's one shot. You got 7 seconds. We got no timeouts. You got one shot, one look, one shot. You either throw it at him or you throw it over his head, and then we kick the field goal. Okay, so he made a mistake. but that's something that we've practiced. And if we're ever in that situation, then we will hope. I'm glad this one didn't get us. We will learn from that and reemphasize that. Should have got 3 points right there. He didn't have his one shot. He should have threw it over his head. We kicked the field goal. We get 3 points, and that helps our team.
Coach, on punt returns this season, not only game by game, but also in game, you've been using several different returners. Is that more experimentation or is that situational?
On punt returners?
Yes.
No, Malik Fleming's our punt returner.
Last one. Go ahead, Chris.
Dana, having Parker emerge, does that allow you to use Stacy, more on those kind of slants and get his speed involved as well?
Yes.
And how big is that?
Absolutely. He's a good player now, and so we need to continue to be creative with him. We have been creative with him, but he's like a third down back. He's a slot receiver. He's a screen guy. We can motion him around. He's very talented, multi-talented. We can hand him the ball. He's not going to be a guy where we hand him the ball 20 times a game, okay? But we can do things with him in space. And yes, he's a weapon, and so we will continue to do things like that. I was so happy to see him do that because he hasn't shown that in a game. He's shown that in practice, which is why we've had him playing some receiver and playing some third down back stuff. He's a talented player, and his role will continue to increase by making plays like that for sure.
Thanks so much, Coach.
Thank you.
Just kindly ask to use the mic, and we'll get things underway. We can kick things off with Joseph Duarte.
Hey, David.
Hello, how you doing?
David, so in terms of needing a game like this, how did you guys feel, I guess, taking away that first drive on defense, but the rest of the game and how y'all performed?
We just felt like we fell back to our preparation, We did a great job preparing and scheming these guys up throughout the week, and I think that today we showed a good way of us, reaping the benefits of the hard work we put in throughout the week.
David, did you guys, challenge yourself as a defense, coming into this game? How did you sort of approach it?
We like to approach every game the same way. We don't really focus on the opponent. What we're focusing on is the preparation that it takes, So we knew that it was still going to be a challenge. We knew what this offense has done in the past. We knew they haven't scored many points this season, so we were just trying to continue to keep that the narrative for them, by doing what we do on our side of the ball.
Talk a little bit about, I guess, what you did good today, and I guess what you can improve on for next week.
Me personally, or as the defense?
As a whole.
As a whole, what we did good today was responding from the bad plays and bad reactions, bad flags that we had. And what we did bad today was, not being disciplined enough to, stay on sides in critical situations. We had a couple of flags out there. Myself had a personal flag to start off the game, and I hold myself fully accountable for that, because I like to be a guy that plays in a disciplined manner,
How important was it to get a win like that everyone can feel good about, going back into, Big 12 Texas Tech?
It's extremely important, any win is a great win, so for us to get back on the W column for this week, it was a big deal for us.
David, what have you seen from Parker in practice, and have you seen the kind of things he showed today?
Yeah, exactly what I seen from him in practice is exactly what I saw him out here on the field, and that goes for everybody in every position. The things we do out here on the game field isn't just a surprise. However we practice, that's going to show up on Saturdays. And Parker is a guy that works his tail off day in and day out. He has great guys. He has great guys older than him that have been in front of him throughout this offseason that really showed him the way. And he's done a great job of learning from those guys that were in front of him.
Couple more. Joseph.
David, has it been tough from a defensive standpoint to maybe get in a rhythm as a unit just because so many guys are out, especially on the defensive line with Chidozie out, Jamari sort of battling. Have you maybe started to see some of the, once you get guys back, that you're able to sort of feel as a whole?
As a D-line, I think everybody's pretty prepared. I didn't see a huge drop-off with those guys being out. We had Hakeem and we had A.J. Holmes. We got some young guys and some guys that are behind those guys that do a great job every day in practice of paying attention to the details and doing what they need to do to go out there and perform once they get out on the field.
David, do you feel like you're settling into this defense more? Dana was saying after Rice that you didn't play as much as he wanted you to. I mean, do you feel like you're sort of, finding that sweet spot?
Yeah, most definitely. I think I'm settling into this defense. I think I'm settling into the defensive end position, and that was my main thing from my transition from linebacker. It was just become more natural as a defensive end, and I think that's happening for us.
Been happy with the ability to get pressure. Looked like we had a little bit more as a unit. You got more pressure tonight. And is that something that you guys have really been working towards?
Yeah, most definitely. As a D-line every day, our goal is to pass rush and to affect the QB. So as much as we can do that is a great deal of, positivity for us.
Thanks so much, David.
Sure. Thank you, guys.
Wide receiver Matthew Golden joining us. Have a mic available. Whoever would like to lead us off. Chris.
Matthew, Dana was saying that you're probably harder on yourself than any other player he's ever coached. Where does that come from, and how did you sort of, shake that off and, coming into today?
Just me expecting myself, to make every play and just to be the best version of myself. I put that pressure on myself. And sometimes it do lead to me, having pressure that I don't need, but that's just me loving the game of football, So I've been playing football for my whole life, so I'm just used to doing everything right, trying to better myself every time.
Those first 3 games, Matt, can you kind of take us in, maybe inside of you? Just how were you feeling during that stretch where maybe Coach was saying you maybe were putting a little bit too much pressure on yourself?
Most definitely frustration, but that's what comes with playing a game of football. So it's gonna be a lot of frustration, it's gonna be a lot of up and downs, but just keeping yourself going and just being motivated. Having the people around you making you better. So I feel like having my connection with the receivers and just the quarterbacks and just talking to them and just having them in my corner, it really do help me a lot. But I'll just say, I just gotta keep going. Football not easy, so it's a lot of people gonna talk, a lot of people gonna have opinions, but the only opinion that matters is mine.
Did they tell you early in the week that they were going to go to you early? It looked like, I don't know, the first 5 or 6 passes, most of them went to you. Was that sort of the plan, or is that how it developed?
That's just how it developed, That's just how the game started, but we started spreading the ball a lot more, and that's just how it went.
No, and just kind of building on all the other questions, what was kind of like the message from the coaching staff in general to you over the course of the first few weeks to keep you locked in?
Execute and do my job, just have fun out there, you feel me? Feel like I've been having fun, but, when I'm not making a play or I know a play I can make, I get frustrated, but that's just what comes with playing football, But I've learned to do better and to move past and go to the next play.
Matt, being from the Klein School District, I'm imagining you played against Parker
Yes, sir.
once or twice. Is the Parker that was out there
Yeah.
tonight sort of the Parker that you
Yeah.
remember as a high school
Yeah,
kid?
that's most definitely the Parker I've been seeing. I seen Parker my first 2 years in high school, still the same dude. When Parker gets started, it's hard to stop him. He's just a dog. He's just a ball player.
you feel like you and Donovan are getting, more of that connection, more on the page now? And
Yeah.
when did you sort of notice that switch?
We started. I mean, we've been after practice. We get extra catches in. Just trying to get that timing down with certain routes and certain situations. But I feel like the connection with me and Donovan, it's starting to build more off the field, and I feel like that's what plays a big role in us in them tight games. Him having that trust in me, it just plays a lot. It plays a big role.
Parker's ability, to break tackles and
Yeah.
carry guys along, does that change things offensively for you guys? Is that,
Yeah. It most definitely do. It put us in situations where, if it's 3rd and 10, Parker gonna get the 10 yards, get us the first down. So having Parker and just knowing his capabilities, Parker gonna be a good back. He gonna be a great running back. He's a very standoff dude. He's to the side, but when it's time to work, Parker gonna come work every day. So you're gonna expect the same thing out of Parker day in and day out, and that's just how he is.
Matthew, you had a great game today. Tell me, what did you like about your performance, and I guess what can you carry forward and to keep improving?
I wasn't really focused on my performance. We lost 2 games in a row, so all I was worried about was getting the win, most definitely. But making plays that I know I can make, and making them routine plays. It felt good, and just getting started early. It builds my confidence a lot. But everything not gonna go my way, and everything. I just got to do my job at the end of the day.
Thanks so much, Matt.
Thank you.
Or Parker, when did you find out you were gonna get the start, and how'd you feel going into the game?
So I found out earlier this week with the reps. We found out by reps. If we get more reps than someone, then we typically know that we're starting that game. And going into the game, is just have to have a calm mind and know that you have the ability to do what you got to do.
When you see them wanting to, that's what Coach Jenks and Coach Holgorsen, they've all said the last few weeks, that they want to get you more involved, whether it's on returns or in the backfield. As a true freshman, what goes through your mind that, that suddenly, you're in a bigger role than, and we talked about it in the summer, but just sort of taking that and running with it?
I think it's more of a mental thing. You have to get yourself mentally prepared, and I think I've done a good job with that, just getting myself mentally prepared for that. And when you get into those games, you just have to stay mentally locked in, and the physical will take care of itself.
Parker, I'm going to get you just a touch closer to the mic as well.
That's cool.
Coach Holgorsen said earlier in this press conference that he expects to see a lot more games like that from you. Have you felt that sort of confidence from him in you and your abilities?
Yeah, I have. We've been talking a lot more recently, and he's just telling me to keep doing what I'm doing. And just like I said, on the mentality part, I have to just stay level-headed and just keep doing what I got to do.
Parker, can you take me back to the first touchdown? You ended up scoring 3 in the first half. But that first one specifically, first ever, the college level, what was it like? What was going through your mind?
The crazy thing is the crowd took my mind, literally. I'm looking at the crowd, everybody's jumping up, screaming. It's a good feeling. Whether you're winning or losing, getting in the end zone is a plus for anybody. So especially for me, for it being my first one, hopefully first of many, it's just a blessing.
Parker, people knew about your speed coming in, but that ability to break tackles, drag guys along, I mean, where does that come from? How important is that as a back?
I think it's really important because if you have speed and you're not able to make those guys miss once you get close to them, or not be able to, like you said, bring them along with you, then I don't think there's really a plus to it, because you have to have other tools in your bag rather than just one thing.
Is that toughness, or what does that come down to?
I think it's toughness and determination. Like the determination, like you're not gonna get me down right here, and the toughness to say, and the toughness and the mentality to say, okay, it's me and you. I know I'm better. Just go get it.
You had some really good physicality out there. I thought you did a tremendous job of that. So can you just tell me the kind of mindset that you have going in and I guess the kind of running back that you are, and what do you think you bring to the team?
Like he mentioned, the speed part and the speed and the physical, like the not too stocky, but I can move. Make guys miss, bring them along with me, choke people if I have to. What can you repeat the first part of the question again?
Just the kind of running back that you're on. What do you think you bring to the team that makes you special?
I think I bring that maturity. I'm not the guy to just go around. I stay in my own lane, do what I have to do for the team. I'm a big role guy. These past weeks I've been sitting in the back, and I've been accepting that because I also know that I am a freshman. I have to develop into those roles, and you never know when your time is going to come. You just got to take it when it's there.
That's sort of leading into what I was about to ask you. Just going into camp as a freshman, did you sort of have to maybe stay in the corner a little bit and
Right.
let things
Right.
happen instead of just coming in, just
Right.
trying to be the guy immediately?
Right, because they know what you can do or you wouldn't be here. But you have those others like Stacy, BC, and with Tony coming in. You have those guys who have experience, and they trust those guys because you have to learn how to handle that. You can't just get thrown in the fire and be expected to do that.
You'll go back and look at the film, but did it feel like about 9 guys were trying to stop? There was one play where I think they had 9 defenders all on you.
Yeah, I was in the middle, and I was like, did he blow the whistle? But I felt everybody kept pushing. I was like, okay, I guess he didn't. So I just kept going, and it was a crazy. When I finally went down, it was just a crazy feeling.
Parker, just again in terms of leading up to the week, like you said, once you guys started, when you personally start to see the reps that, I'm probably going to be the starter, what was the message from some of the other running backs in the group leading into the week?
Tony was a big part, and he was like, he told me that I was a starter, and he was like, and I took that personally. I knew I had to take a different role rather than just sitting in the back watching. I had to lead them because they are kind of down and somewhat injured, so I have to be a leader. Even though I'm a young guy and I'm expected to learn from those, I have to play and learn from them. So it was kind of a big deal for me, and me being able to go out and do what I did today, it feels good on my part.
Is there anything Tony told you specifically that sort of stuck with you?
It was that you're the starter, you got to lock in, and I was like, okay, I really have to, because I know that this team and my crew, my running back crew, is leaning on me and depending on me, and I have Stacy, BC, Keelan, and everybody else. So it's your time. You just got to go seize the moment.
Growing up, were there certain running backs you looked to or tried to emulate, or were there guys that were your guys?
My family compared me to Barry Sanders a lot. I like the agility backs like CMC, Dalvin Cook, Ezekiel Elliott. I used to watch those guys a lot growing up. I used to love watching D'Anthony Thomas when he was at Oregon. That would be my go-to back every time.
Joseph, and then if there's one more.
Parker, did you sense just maybe a weight off the shoulders in there in the locker room, just to, you guys have had some tough losses, just to get a win, you feel like you needed one?
Yeah, walking up we all knew that Coach Holgorsen was like, we all have this sick feeling, and the only thing that would get it away is the win, and that's what we were able to go show everybody, that we had something to get off our shoulders, and walking off the field, you just feel completed because you got the win and you did what you needed to do.
Obviously, it was a breakout game for you with 3 touchdowns. I'm sure a lot of the fans noticed. Is there anything, I guess, you want the Cougars fans to know about you?
I would say just be expected to see more.
Perfect. All right, thanks so much, Parker. Appreciate you.
Thank you, guys.